Only there was a whole field dedicated to accurately measuring soft skills and psychological concepts and behavioral traits and skills in your workplace. Wait, there is, but nobody knows we exist. Industrial organizational psychology, and I'm one of them. But I hadn't even heard of this field until I was an undergrad, and I was at an institution that was like the number 4 in the nation for it. The video this commenter is responding to, I talked about how there are 2 types of job performance, and in IO psychology graduate programs we are literally taught there's task performance, which is what is in your job description, and contextual performance, which is all the other things you're expected to do. That didn't sit well with me, and I've dedicated my career to discovering what those are and who they apply to, because they're not distributed equally. A lot of people are like, how do we even measure some of this stuff? Maybe that's why it's not measured. Nothing's going to be 100%. It's often not 100% on task performance either. But there are things you can do that reduce bias, and a lot of people don't even know these options are there. So instead, their performance evaluation sounds like be more strategic instead of telling you what that means. Or work on your soft skills. And you're like, which ones? A lot of places are winging it or going with gut feelings or looking for culture fits. There are techniques we use as industrial organizational psychologists to reduce bias and to focus on what are the skills, whether personality, like soft skill related or task related and technical, needed to do the job and how it aligns with the organizational mission. So for example, a favorite is behaviorally anchored rating scales. This is, instead of giving people a 1 to 5 to rate your performance, each 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has examples of the behavior that is required to get that rating, and it's decided before you are on the job. It's not in retaliation against a certain person. There's also the critical incident method, which can be used in performance evaluation and in training, of working with people on what are the critical incidents that show good performance, like what does really good performance look like, what does really bad performance look like, and what does performance look like. And to do all of these things, it's not that we're all-knowing gods who know everything about jobs. We usually go into organizations and work with the subject matter experts on that topic across levels, from people on the floor, middle, and what the executives think it is. And usually those 3 groups will tell you different things. We do things like narrow down what the job is, where you can find people, and how you would know you've hired people with those skills, how you can evaluate their performance, and what gaps you may need to fill in training, what is trainable and what needs to be available right at the beginning of the job. Some companies have an internal IO psychologist. Those that have use our services often hire an external consultant who comes in and then evaluates and designs the system and then leaves, so it doesn't have to be a long-term cost, but it does usually end up saving you a lot of money and turnover, lack of productivity, just overall poor performance. Without these structures in place, organizations often fall back on the unwritten rules of work, which I research. It's not an unwritten rule, by the way, if we know the job needs communication skills and we can quantify what those are. Then it becomes a written rule. But if you don't clarify that, then it's an unwritten rule. See the problem? Executive presence becomes whatever your manager thinks it looks like. Being strategic becomes vague feedback that somebody doesn't like what you did and wants you to think further ahead, but they don't really know how to tell you. They're not really held accountable to telling you. These tools are in place to make things better and more transparent. I could talk about IO psychology all day. Understanding what good measurement looks like helps you become an advocate for better systems and better work. Every chapter of my book on the unwritten rules of work, I will provide recommendations based on my knowledge of this field for leaders, HR, and entry-level staff. A free chapter online if anyone wants to take a gander. It's linked in my bio. And if you want to learn more about it, you can go to my website where the book chapter is, and you can also book your free 20 minutes with me if you want to keep yakking about this.